Hey, what's up? Hello. This is Chris Young.
And I'm Colleen Finney
And this is Candid Chats episode 1
with CNC.
with CNC. All right. Well, I think for the beginning, we're just going to go ahead and kind of introduce ourselves, give a little background, talk about who we are, what we
Yeah, we
do.
want you guys to know who you're listening to.
Yeah, I know that that's something that I really value when I listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we saw a lot of first podcasts just kind of taking off and going. And it seems a little bit weird because you're like, why should I listen to you? I know nothing about you. So
Yeah, I would rather know. I would
yeah,
rather know than
at
hearing.
least put a name to a face for sure.
Right. Like I've listened to a couple that have had like different celebrities on and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a
And
little
they just
different.
like dive in, which I'm like, with people like that, I mean you can.
Yeah.
But I mean also who the heck is hosting the podcast? I don't know.
Mhm.
I know
Well,
what celebrity was on.
maybe someday we'll be big enough to be able to do that.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, Colleen, you just want to kind of tell the
Yeah.
people who you are?
Yeah, so obviously we're in two different settings. We are not filming this together. And that is because we are in two completely different cities that are about 8 hours away. So I am in Lexington, Kentucky. My name is Colleen. I am a senior here and I am a broadcast journalism major, and I will actually be graduating in about 3 weeks. So I am yes, I'm very excited. I am in the part of doing all the final projects, and senioritis is very much kicking in. Outside of that, you can find me in London, Ohio. That is where Chris and I are both from. That's where we grew up together. We went to high school together. So my parents still live there. I'm actually going tomorrow up to see them. Outside of that, I usually have coffee or cookout in my hand, one of the two. I often have friends or a podcast playing, and I really enjoy having campfires and having game nights with my friends. So it's a little bit about me.
Couple things to respond. High school together, good old Madison Plains.
Yeah, Madco for the win.
To give you some geographical information, we're, like Colleen said, we're from London, Ohio, which is about 25 minutes west of Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So Madison County, Ohio, born
Yeah,
and
very,
raised.
very small, very, very cornfield-esque.
Oh yeah, our high school surrounded 4 cornfields.
Yeah,
Was
and
surrounded by 4 cornfields, I guess.
and like we both graduated with like between like 80 and 100 people in our class, so very small.
I had 97.
I had 83. I was the smallest class in the district at the time.
Yeah, that's better than, also to give everyone like, some background info. My cousin went to Southeastern next to us,
Mm-hmm.
and she graduated with 40 people.
Yeah. So,
So,
and like, I mean, in Kentucky, there's schools that are like even smaller than that. So,
and it's also weird because they have county schools there.
Yeah.
Like one of my coworkers is from Kentucky, and she went to a county school, so she graduated with like 400 people. And I
Yeah.
just kind of like blows my mind that Kentucky of all places. I was like, I did not imagine. I thought every like high school in Kentucky was like the same size as ours. But
No.
that's also me.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because there is less people population wise.
Right.
So it does kind of make sense. Like, yeah, like I am in Lexington, so I'm in Fayette, London County, and like Fayette County Schools is like a 15-minute drive from my house.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I guess I should introduce myself. Like I mentioned, I'm Chris Young. Similar to Colleen, we are both from London, Ohio. I am a graduate of The Ohio State University, graduated this past December of 2020.
Go Bucks!
Go Bucks, baby. And I graduated with a degree in agricultural communication and a minor in leadership studies. And I moved to the Washington, D.C. area. So I am in Arlington, Virginia, because it is cheaper to live here than it is in D.C. It's still expensive, but it's cheaper.
Yes.
So I moved here in November, it was the week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, in the midst of COVID chaos.
In the midst of COVID chaos. Yeah, it was crazy because I moved here over like the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then stayed here for what, 2 weeks?
If that.
If that, came back, went back to Ohio for Christmas, and then you drove out to DC with me for
Yep,
New
for
Year.
New Year's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crazy.
It was a lot of
But
back and forth.
yeah, so currently living and working in the DC area, and we're hoping to make more friends. I've made quite a few work friends, and work friends have introduced me to a lot of people, but it's definitely a lot different for me here because in Columbus I was always with someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's so much harder during COVID. I mean, a lot of places are still fully working at home. So it's not like the capital is popping like it usually is.
Oh, right. I'm still working at home.
Mm-hmm.
I only go into the office if I absolutely need to.
Yeah, I'm doing all of my classes from home.
Yeah. So we are fingers crossed hoping to go back in the fall, but
Mm-hmm.
who knows? Yeah, I like to give you also a picture of what it's like here. They just started having outdoor seating or indoor seating in DC like a month ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when you came to DC with me over New Year's, we had to eat outside.
Yes. And it was a bit
Oh,
chilly. It was January.
a
It was a
little
little
chilly.
cold.
Yeah. But like they had a tent and like those outdoor heaters and stuff. So that
Yeah.
was nice. Um good place. I don't remember what the name of it was.
Station 6,
That sounds
Station,
right. Yeah.
Station 8.
One of the two. One of the two. It's an even number. 6, 8.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I rode the metro for the first time. It was a blast.
Metro is fun. And also when you came, there was not a lot of people on the metro,
Yes,
which
which
is
I appreciate.
very unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with COVID now, it's starting to pick back up. But usually the DC Metro is popping,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially in the summer when all the little kiddies from high school come. And
Mm-hmm.
then with school trips, and then cherry blossom season is
Yes.
a nightmare.
Yeah. Which you just recently had.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents, so my mom's birthday is March 26th and mine is March 30th. So my parents came on my mom's birthday to come out and stay with me, and they wanted to see the cherry blossoms bloom. They had never been out. My dad's big thing was he wanted to see them. And I was like, I mean, it's cool, but like, all right.
I
And
live
so
here. I see them all the time.
I was like, hey, they're gonna come buy me some stuff, buy me food. I'm in. But no, they came on Friday. We went out and explored some, went to dinner for my mom's birthday, and then came back, and then we did like the whole like exploring DC touristy stuff on Saturday, and went and saw the cherry blossoms bloom, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And highly recommend. There wasn't as many people as usual, but there were still a lot of people, and it was at the point where I was like, y'all, we living in a Panera Bread. Why? Like, why?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but indoor seating's better. It's more open
Yeah.
now.
Well, it's been really weird here too because I mean, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. I mean, I'm used to being in Columbus, which is a lot bigger of a city, but we are having Keeneland season right now. And for those of you that don't know what Keeneland is, it is a giant racetrack right outside of the city. And every weekend in April, they have big races that everyone comes to. And it pretty much leads up to the Kentucky Derby, which is 2 weekends from now. It's on May 1st. So there's been a lot more people in the city than in like at bars and restaurants and stuff than what I'm used to over like the past year, because a lot of people come into the city to be involved in Keeneland, and they have races Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So these past weekends, it's been a lot harder to like go to dinner and stuff like that.
Right. So I have to know, are you having a party like you did last year with your roommates?
So I actually was going to go home next weekend, and they were like, "What are you doing? The Kentucky Derby's next weekend." And I was like, I gotta be here for that because last year we were in like deep quarantine when it, or during in the fall when they had it because my roommate had COVID. So we had like a COVID race party. So we're excited to like actually like grill out and do more stuff outside this time since we're not actually stuck here. But I had to move some things around to make sure I was here for it because it's such a big deal.
To be a Kentuckian, wouldn't know.
Well, the race is Louisville. We thought about going, but it sounds like a lot of people. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that was nice, like that you guys were able to do that last year during quarantine.
Yeah, it was fun. I made some bets, made $175 off of it, only betted $10, so I was very happy.
Oh, that would be. So one thing, like I mentioned, my birthday is March 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So the world shut down on what, March 13th?
Yes.
Wasn't it Black Friday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think it was because I think everyone was like, Black Friday, the world's ending.
Yeah.
No. But no, my birthday was a couple weeks later. And I was like,
oh, Black Friday, Friday the 13th.
Or Friday.
I was like, Black Friday, that's in November. Friday the 13th in March. Yeah.
Right. But you know what? This year, it hasn't been a year. It's not real. I am not 23.
My brain is a mess.
I'm 23 years old. I'm still 22. I will not accept the fact that I'm not old because a year of my life was wasted. Anyway, I digress.
Moving
on. But no, my roommate and I ended up celebrating my birthday in quarantine in our apartment. And I was so upset because I couldn't see my friends.
Which, remember, because my birthday is February 11th, and I came up the weekend after.
Last fun of thing.
That was like our last hoorah, and I was so excited that I got to like spend and celebrate my 21st birthday in a normal. That was like when it was like in China, like it was like, it might be a thing, it might come over here, we don't know.
Right? Do you remember those memes that was like, "It's Corona time"? That was funny. That was
like funny quarantine time. We were still laughing about it then. It's not funny anymore.
No, because then I think it was because I was still going to Ohio State. So then the world shut down and they were like, your spring break is extended a week. And we're like, heck yeah, it is. So then we wait that week and then they come back and they're like, JK, don't come back. And I remember I was with my friend Kylie and we were at her apartment because she was in my bubble. So it was fun. And it was also a time when we weren't wearing masks too, which seems like that was forever ago. And I remember getting but I remember getting that notification, that email, and we both were like, okay, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, I was in Myrtle Beach at my roommate's house. That's where we went for spring break, and it was really weird. Should we move
on down a rabbit hole? But I mean, that's kind of gives everyone a little bit of sense of who we are. And I mean, also kind of gives a little bit of insight of what to expect. I mean, we're just going to be talking.
And like that's the cool part, that we do live in totally different realms. So like we even find it hard sometimes to catch up with each other. We like the last couple of times, we were so used to, like before when he was at Ohio State and I was down here, I mean, we would talk almost every day. And now that he has a full-time job and I'm trying to graduate, like it's like, hey, Monday we're talking, we're catching up, like we're having to plan out when we're going to catch up, which is what we're not used to.
No, because I mean, also to give insight, I mean, we were at each other's house like when we were in high school all the time.
Yeah, our parents lived like 15 minutes from each other.
Yeah, if that.
And if you want to get there that quick. Depends on the urgency.
And I mean, like, even like when we were in college, like over the summers and stuff, we, Colleen, myself, and our best friend Kat, were together every single day.
Yeah. And like, even like, cause I mean, I'm only like a 2.5 hour drive from home. Like I would come up for the weekend and, you know, we would go out at Columbus and there's always something to celebrate.
Yeah, always. But I remember you would come to Columbus sometimes and not even go to your parents' house.
Yeah, I would literally, my parents wouldn't even know I was home for the weekend. I would go straight to Chris's and then I would text them like Saturday and be like, hey, make dinner tomorrow night. I'm in Columbus and I'll be there.
Like, oh, okay. Sure. Stop on by. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, especially my sophomore year, your junior year, that spring, I was living with my ex-boyfriend. Totally different story. We'll get to that in a different episode because that's a lot. But I hated my living situation. So I literally made it to where I would be in Kentucky one weekend, and then the next minute I would come up to Ohio State. And we counted, there's 16, weeks in the semester. And I came up to Ohio 8 times. So I literally stuck to my schedule and came every other weekend.
Yep. And I remember because my friends and I would always be like, okay, what are we doing this weekend? What are we doing this weekend? Because Colin's coming next weekend. So what are we going to do then?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny. And because I remember giving a little insight of the ex-boyfriend situation. Do you remember that one? I know, gross. But do you remember that one weekend? I was done with school. I think you were done or almost done. And
Probably was done. Yeah. I always get out later than you do.
Right. But then I was just sitting in my fraternity house where
I know what you're gonna say.
And you called me. Didn't you call me? And you were like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, nothing. And you were like, want to come to Kentucky for the weekend?
Yeah, because my ex had moved.
Like a random Wednesday or Thursday or something.
Yeah. So my ex had already moved back home and had already completely moved out of our apartment. And I was there finishing up school. I was packing up my stuff and I was just depressed and sad. I hated I was there by myself. I was so ready to be out of there. And we had been talking about you coming down there because that was the first time you came down here.
Right.
And so we had been talking about you coming and seeing UK and everything. And I was like, hey, you're done with school. Come get me out of my feels, please. And you came down there for 4 or 5 days, I think.
Yeah, well, because didn't we pack up your apartment?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you left. And then 3 days later, my parents came down with a trailer and we took everything back up to Ohio.
Yeah. Peace out.
Yep. What a time to be alive. Oh, it feels like a completely different person. When I talk about that, I don't even feel like it was me.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that was so long ago.
Oh my God. It was 2 full years ago.
That's crazy.
It'll be 2 full years in May. Yeah.
Because wasn't that the summer after my junior year into my senior year?
Yeah, because I was going into my senior year.
Yeah, because you know what? I feel like it was probably you came 2 weekends prior and you were like,
probably
Ohio.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, so again, more insight on what we're going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And, so tell everyone we've been there for the good and the bad stuff.
Yes. Yeah, because we've been friends since I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, you want to tell the story?
Yeah, we should. I think that's a story to tell right now. I think that'll connect some dots. Yeah.
So what year was that? 2014. It was 2014.
Yes, it was 2014.
Holy crap, that's 7 years ago. Dang.
Oh my God, it is. Oh my
God. So our first time, of course, we knew who each other were.
Backstory. Our dads used to run together in high school and were good friends and would hang out all the time.
Oh yeah.
So we had heard about each other. We had, heard stories at home, but we never actually hung out before this.
Yeah. And what was that back in the 80s?
Yeah.
So back in the 80s, something that would happen in our hometown men with big trucks would cruise London.
Yeah. and stop at Burger Chef. Apparently that's where all of the shit went down, which Burger Chef isn't even a thing in our hometown anymore.
I honestly could not tell you what it was. I think they had burgers, I would assume.
And a chef.
Well,
yeah, we were never alive long enough, early enough to witness that. But our parents talk about, everything happened at Burger Chef. I think there was beef going down in the parking lot, at all times.
There was always something happening. And so they would hang out, do their thing, cruise London, and cause problems.
Yep.
And then I guess this is a weird backstory, but they stopped really hanging out.
Yes, because your father met your mother and was like, sorry, Mitch, it's been fun. I've met the love of my life. And they weren't even dating yet. And he was like, I'm gonna go secure this woman over here. You have fun.
Which is crazy because the thing is my mom is a saint. Literal saint.
Literally.
She would be she probably was to the point, and she also is like a super social person, but like she'd probably be like, leave, like go hang out with people. Like, why are you around me? Like, we're not talking.
No, they weren't even dating yet, and they were sitting in Burger Chef's parking lot, and your mom drove past. And your dad said to my dad, like, do you see that woman that just went past? I'm gonna marry her someday. And my dad was like, what? Like, you're not even dating her.
Yeah, they started dating, got engaged after a year, got married after the year of engagement.
He was manifesting shit before manifesting was even a thing.
I know. That's true. But anyway, so our first hangout ever was we were fair ambassadors.
Yes, so I was the swine ambassador.
Yeah, and I was the goat ambassador.
Yeah.
And so also, I guess backstory on us, we were part of, the youth ag organizations, FFA, 4-H, stuff like that.
Yeah, my dad's a farmer, so I mean,
right. My dad.
What you do.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But so we showed animals at the county fair, and Colleen was bigger into pigs because your mom was the pork queen.
Yes, I'm so glad. I'm so happy that it was called the swine ambassador once I got to it.
Yeah. But then I used to raise goats when I lived with my parents. So I think at one point we got up to like 60 goats.
Yeah, something like that.
It's kind of crazy for us because, I mean, we like extended the barn and everything to like make room and stuff. But like, I mean, imagine having 20 baby goats at one time. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it was awesome.
Yeah. It's a good experience for sure. It taught us a lot at a young age.
Oh, for sure. I mean, taking 11 goats to the county fair, kind of ridiculous.
Well, and like the way, like when I like first got into college, the way that I looked at it was, if I can keep 2 pigs alive, then I can keep myself good.
Oh, true. Very true. And also, they paid for college.
It's true.
But so anyway, so she was the swine ambassador. I was the goat ambassador in 2014. And so what we had to do during the summers was go around to different county fairs throughout the state.
Yeah.
And
meet other ambassadors.
Meet other ambassadors, fair royalty, stuff like that. So we went. So we were coordinating. Did we go by ourselves?
No, I rode with you.
No. I meant like.
Oh yeah, it was just the 2 of us.
Yeah. For some reason, we were just like, well, because we also had a requirement. We had to go to so many fairs, didn't we?
Yeah. We had, things we had to check off.
Yeah. So we were like, Champaign County Fair in Urbana, Ohio. Why not? So then we said, let's go. And so,
I remember you texted me and we're like, hey, we've never hung out before, but do you want to go do this together?
Yeah, because I wanted to go because I think I wanted to see someone.
Yeah, I think there was someone showing that you wanted to go watch.
Yeah.
I don't remember who.
I used to say who it was now. But so I texted you. You were like, oh, yeah, sure. So then I roll up to your house. And because you didn't have your driver's license then.
No, I was a freshman in high school. Yeah.
And so picked you up and then we went on our way. And your dad made sure to be like, this is so weird. I was friends with your dad. This is so weird. Yeah. This is so weird. Of course, I had met Mitch multiple times. He had bought Mitch, your dad.
Yeah.
And he'd bought some animals off of me, like at the fair and stuff like that, like in the auction.
Yeah. So I think that was the first time that I heard that like him and your dad ran around together. Cause I like said, I came home and I was like, hey, like, obviously my mom knew who you were. My mom works at our high school. So I was like, yeah, like Chris Young and I are like going to a fair. My dad was like, Chris Young and his dad and I, like, we used to be buds. And he was like, well, this is weird. And he was like, I feel like I'm like looking through a lens right now.
Yeah. So it's funny, but we went, obviously had fun.
Ate some bomb ice cream, if I remember right.
Oh, well, because it was that one, wasn't it the same place that we have at our fair?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember what the name of that place is, but ooh.
Yeah, they like use John Deere equipment to like make the ice cream.
Yeah, John Deere equipment.
Yeah.
And then it's old-fashioned ice cream.
Yes. Yeah. So it's actually like the texture and creaminess is like real ice cream could never, or real ice cream, Kroger, Walmart ice cream out of a tub could never touch it.
The only place that I think has better ice cream than them is Grater's Ice Cream.
That is something we are in agreement on.
And nobody can prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Because everyone says that it's like Handles, and then there's another one.
Jenny's.
Yeah.
I like Jenny's, but they just have some weird flavors for me.
But I think that's what they're known for, is like they don't have your traditional ice cream flavors. Anyways, we're getting off topic again. Back to the story. Yeah, then so that was the first time we hung out, and then we just kept like doing fair stuff. And then we also were on junior fair board together. Mm-hmm. So we were like having to go to meetings together. Like I think after that we were kind of like, we were doing the same thing all the time. And then from what I remember, we just kept hanging out after that.
Yeah. And then I conned you into being an FFA officer.
Yes. Then that happened when I was a sophomore.
Yeah. And did I con you into joining junior fair board? I think I did.
Oh yeah. You conned me and Kat both. And then you became the president.
For multiple years.
So like, yeah. So then we were really forced into it.
Yeah.
Well, then then Kat and I got our driver's license. And then, after that, we all were out together all the time.
Yeah. Downhill from there.
That's how it started. Good old Champaign County Fair.
Champaign County Fair. What a special place.
Yeah. Yeah, which is funny because if you would have told me back then, like going like before we went to the fair that like this is going to be your lifelong best friend, I would have been like, really?
I know.
We don't even know each other.
I honestly don't even really remember like seeing you a ton like in middle school and elementary and stuff. I remember seeing
was weird in middle school. I had a perm. People didn't talk to me.
Have a perm.
I'll have to bring out pictures from that because we're gonna do like an episode like on like childhood memories and stuff about our childhood, and we'll definitely have to take out some throwback pictures for sure.
To tell stories, but I'm not excited to share pictures.
Okay, we could do an entire podcast just on the traumatic stories I put my parents through as a child.
I would love that. Can we bring your mom?
We have to, because she tells them like immaculately. Like it's not the same type of like humorous, like I don't know, when she tells it, it's like so much more hilarious.
I don't know how, but like she imitates people so well. Like it's crazy.
It's creepy.
I've never met someone that can imitate people
and like that. Oh, like yeah. It sounds, if you had your eyes closed, you would think the person walked into the room.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. She didn't know that it was a gift for the longest time until she started telling people like stories to my friends. And then like she would imitate teachers and stuff, and we would be like, or like people from my family, and we would be like, oh my God.
Well, and then I think that your mom always knows that she was successful with a story when I start crying because I'm like,
there was like a while there. I think it was, I want to say it was last summer. There was a while there, like, I mean, like 6 times in a row, every time Chris came over, he ended up crying. And like every time my mom was like, I know it was successful when Chris leaves, and he has cried when he's been here from laughing so hard.
And it just became like a thing where people were like, oh, Chris is crying again. And then I can't breathe because I'm laughing so hard.
And every time you're like, I need a second. And you like have to leave the room and like collect yourself.
Because I can't stop. Like, and that's when I laugh at stuff and like, whatever. But like, I mean, like, I don't know. When
like
you
belly
know
laughing.
that I'm like actually laughing when like I need to leave the room and collect myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God. Do we want to move on to our goals?
Yeah. So I guess we kind of touched on it a little bit, but some of the goals, I know that some of our plans that we are planning on talking about is, of course, like this has been nice, like, talking about ourselves and kind of chatting a little bit about our past and everything, kind of brings up good memories. But also we're going to talk about a couple things that are a little tough. And
yes, we really want to normalize stuff with mental health, especially at our age. I think it is becoming, I think Gen Z as a whole is normalizing stuff a little bit more than what millennials and baby boomers and stuff have in the past. But yeah, we are the way that we are for a certain reason. Both of us have experienced past trauma, just like everybody else has. We both have dealt with depression at weird ages. So yeah, we definitely want to tell some stories and just normalize some things of just having an open conversation and being able to put this stuff out on the table and like realize what you're going through is okay.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, for sure. And I like that you kind of touched on, I definitely think that Gen Z is a lot more open to a lot of
Mhm.
different things and talking about different things and getting out
Yeah.
of comfort zones and kind of
Yeah.
flattening the line of the stigma and
Mhm.
getting away from it and stuff. But I also do think that a lot of people are going in the right direction of being able to talk about mental health.
Yeah, and I think one of the positive outcomes from COVID is it's also brought that out of the woodwork a little bit too, because so many people were forced to be home for months on end. And I think they realized once they were by themselves, and not like, having the distractions of work and their social life and just the outside world, that they were like, oh, I like have some stuff that like I need to figure out. Like once they got by themselves. And I think a lot of people, COVID depression is definitely real of being stuck in your home and being in quarantine for sure. So I think that's one of the positive things that have come out of quarantine and COVID.
Yeah, I agree. I like, as unfortunate as it is for people to have to go through that, and I, being myself who like struggled with it for a very long time and nobody knew, but um I definitely don't wish it upon anybody, but it is something that definitely hit home this past
Yeah.
year for sure.
Mhm.
And I know that I got my good experience with it again, because especially those of us that are super social people,
Yeah. Yeah.
so hard to just, like, you think that you're like, at first everyone was like, oh, this is gonna be so nice, it's gonna be like a
My
vacation.
thinking was I'm gonna get so much stuff done. Like, the stuff that just gets like pushed to the back burner because you're doing life. You have other things that are more important. Oh my God, I was so excited to like start journaling again and just like do stuff like for myself. And yeah, that backfired.
My first thought was, wow, I
A
can
break.
sleep until whenever the heck I want.
Mhm. Yeah.
But then it got worse.
Well, and it's interesting now how that like mindset has completely flipped. I mean, we're like a year and a half into this now, and I hate Zoom school so much. Like, I would do anything to have my last semester be just like back in person.
Oh, I know. And I can definitely agree. Couple, like, first off, it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like working from home, and it's
Hmm.
nice because I can roll out of bed, take a shower, get ready for work, walk
Yeah.
over to the desk. But also some days I'm like, I really just want human contact.
Hmm.
Like, I want to talk to people in person. And I also like am more productive when I'm in person, because I mean, I feel like everybody is. I have a TV right there. Like,
Yeah.
who
Well,
can stop me from doing that?
yeah, and it's different when like you're in the office with your supervisor, or like for me when I'm in class with my professor. I get more stuff done when like they're kind of over my shoulder walking around, the classroom or the office, and just checking in and being like, hey, what's the update? What have you gotten done in the last hour? Or like, hey, can you do this? Yeah, it's so much different than having to get on Zoom and do it that way.
I prefer structure.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that's something that we both prefer for sure.
like, I mean, I never watch my TV like when I'm working, but like,
Yeah.
in the preface of, who's to say I couldn't?
Hmm. Yeah.
No. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it is nice because then I don't have to worry about like walking to the metro, going on the metro to work, going
Mhm.
into the office, being sweaty during the
Yeah.
summer because it gets freaking hot here.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it,
even just looking at a computer all day, like my mom being a teacher, she's like, my headaches are so much worse and I'm so much more drained at the end of the day because I'm staring at a computer all day. Like it's just not healthy. Like I'm finding myself craving to go outside more, especially now that like it's getting warmer, obviously, but even more than what I did in the past after the winter, because I've been cooped up staring at my computer for the last 4 months.
yep, I agree. I know. Blue light glasses, they're a saint.
Where are they at?
I have
Always
mine.
on hand.
But yeah, so like, we're gonna talk about tough topics like that. I'm excited to have our guests come on.
Yes. Yeah.
We will hopefully be having a few good guests depending
Mhm.
on topic is.
Yeah, and that's like the beautiful thing about doing this virtually too. We definitely plan within the next couple months, we are going to be getting together once our lives kind of wind down a little bit and I graduate. So we are very excited to do episodes actually in person together. So you guys can kind of get a vibe of like how we are together, which will be really fun. But what's really cool about this is we can have so many different people that we don't even live close to as Zoom that we can have come and sit down and talk to you guys.
Yeah, agreed. I'm excited.
Yeah, we also have some very funny stories to tell you. So, not everything is going to be about mental health and depression. We definitely want to keep some episodes lighthearted. There's some games that we want to play. Yeah, definitely funny stories from our past, stuff like that. And just even like, I mean, with our lives being so crazy, like, I'm sure that we're going to have recent stories for us to tell you guys too.
Right. And I'm excited for you to come to DC over Memorial Day. We can do like a little DC episode. Ooh.
Yes.
We'll have a video of some of my favorite spots and some cool spots. Our YouTube channel, so we can kind of show the people around who haven't been to DC.
Yeah, that's actually, we haven't talked about that. That's a good idea.
I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I have quite a few favorite places to go.
Yeah. I could even do that like of Lexington too before I leave.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Insight.
Yeah, which like that's what's exciting for me. I mean, he, has gotten his first job and is getting established in DC and everything, but my life is about to completely change. I just applied for 18 jobs the other day. So I don't know where I will be at after May 16th.
And I mean, and that's another thing that we're going to touch base about is getting a job, getting a job after college. It doesn't even have to be after college, just getting a job, period.
Yeah, which like we want to do an episode too on just that, because like I personally, I think you were kind of the same way, like especially with moving, like I am like so lost. I feel like you can speak for Ohio State. I love UK. I love my major. I love the people in my major, but I feel like right now they're just kind of like, okay, let's get you graduated and then they're done. I kind of wish that they would push it a step further of let's get you graduated and let's get you your first job. Because I have been calling all of my friends that graduated last May that, they do have full-time jobs and have been working at them for almost a year and being like, hey, what advice can you give me? Like, what questions do I need to be asking? What's the right way to do this? Because it definitely is trial and error. You just kind of figure it out and hope for the best.
The answer is there is no right way.
But we definitely want to be an outlet for you guys, especially people, our age. Yeah, if you guys have questions, like feel free. We're gonna put our email in our bio. We have an Instagram account, so like feel free to DM us your questions, to email us your questions, because we're all on the same struggle bus. We're all trying to figure it out. So we would love to be able to be allies for you guys, because I wish that both of us had someone that had a little bit more answers.
Right, and especially I think something that is super hard for people right now is, getting a job, but getting a job during a pandemic.
Yes. Oh my God. Completely different story.
Because usually you would fly out to wherever or whatever to have an in-person interview, and that just is not the case. I still have coworkers that I've never met in person.
Yeah. Well, like for me being in the job hunting process, like I'm applying at a lot of news stations, and I've been talking to news directors and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we can give you a Zoom tour like of what the station looks like, and like everyone keeps telling me like you're gonna know because your gut feeling, like if this is the station for you, if this is the right fit for you. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know that if I'm not in the environment? How am I supposed to get that gut feeling if I'm not there in person actually meeting people? So it's very strange.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point. Like, you hear in interviews what the atmosphere is like and what the environment is in the office and everything, but then you don't know.
You don't know until you feel it for yourself.
Right. And so I got lucky and they weren't lying. And so I love my environment at work.
But you almost have to trust people's word, that do work at the institutions a little bit more, and just hope that they're not sugarcoating it for you.
Right. Yeah. So it's tough. It is tough.
It's weird.
It's hard to gauge people too when you're working virtually.
Yes. Yeah. Especially for me, body language is something I really pay attention to when I have a conversation with somebody. I think that's just a part of like, normal human psychology. You can tell when someone's uncomfortable. You can tell when someone's really vibing with you. And it's really hard to do that when you can only see from here up.
And I like, we've been saying when I've been meeting coworkers, like, it's nice to see you on in person. Like, it's nice to see
Mhm.
you on the other side of the camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. But yeah, but those are some topics that we plan on touching base
Mhm.
on.
Okay. So we are going to play, I guess you could say play a game. We're pretty much going to ask each other questions for you guys to get to know us a little bit better. So we have 5 questions that are kind of simpler, more quirky, like just fun stuff. And then we do have 5 that are like deeper, more get to know us a little bit better type of stuff. So
This
we're going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite like drinking games to play with like really good friends. The first like 5 questions,
Mhm.
it's like, do you know me?
Yeah.
And do you know me or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely do I mean, this is kind of a glimpse of like some of the games that we're going to be playing, but we will definitely do have to do a game like to see who knows which best friend better. That definitely is going to be something we're going to do in the future, but we thought that we would start out with 10 questions for you guys to learn a little bit more about our personalities. I mean, we can tell you about our past and where we're living all we want, but I feel like this is going to get a little bit more insight into our humor and just how our brains work. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, question 1. What is my favorite Starbucks drink?
that's so easy. So easy. If I know any of these questions, it's this one only because whenever I would go to Ohio State, I always picked up Starbucks for us. And I would always surprise him with Starbucks. So your favorite drink is a strawberry acai refresher with lemonade.
Bingo. Yes, delicious. Um, yours is the, I'm gonna mess it up, but is it the like iced green tea? Is it like a chai? Ice
No, I do. It's a matcha.
uh,
Um, that's my favorite if I'm not getting coffee. I do like the iced green tea matcha, but
okay.
my go-to coffee drink is the salted cream cold foam cold brew, which is also a mouthful. But their cold brews are my favorite for sure.
Yeah. Well, I got the green tea part.
Which I usually, I mean, so usually when we go to Starbucks, it's usually after like 5 p.m. So yeah, I'm not getting coffee. So that was a good answer.
Yeah.
You don't see me in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the next question is what is the favorite place you've visited? I want to say that yours is DC.
I do love DC, but no. It was it's a tough one. It's a tie between 2. It's either Dublin, Ireland, or
Yeah.
London, England.
Okay.
Faves. If I
It
could
was
move,
like, was I right for the states at least?
oh well, yeah, for the States, yeah,
Okay.
until I go to Hawaii.
Fair.
But
Fair. Okay. What's
um,
mine?
that's a tough one.
I'm trying to think too.
I feel like it would be Panama City Beach or
We do
Destin
go there a lot, but
because
that's not my favorite.
right. Well, because also like you get to see your cousin
Mm-hmm.
and you guys. Oh, I feel like you guys go there all the time. I feel like your favorite place is Florida. You go to Florida all the time.
That's not my favorite place I've visited.
Is it not? What is it?
You're go to the other side, the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay. That was my second
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. I was only 17 when I went, so I would really enjoy to visit Las Vegas now that I'm 21. But well, I'm 22, but now that I'm past 21, because I think I would love it even more.
Yeah, I think so. Also a goal of mine.
Yes. I applied for a place there the other day, so you never know. Maybe
Vac-
I'll be living there.
Vacation may become home.
Yep.
Okay, next question is favorite store.
Vineyard Vines for you.
Yeah.
And if not, that's definitely where you spend the most money.
Yeah. Vineyard, I just feel like I can always find something there.
Yeah, that's definitely your go-to. I made fun of you for it because it's such frat boy vibes, but I can't now because you're out of college, so it's fine.
I'm also living on the East Coast now, so
Mm-hmm.
it fits the mold.
Yeah, it didn't fit the mold in Madison County.
No, but did I care? Your favorite store. This is kind of tough.
I do a lot of shopping.
Is it like TJ Maxx or?
Yeah. I have a $25 gift card I need to spend.
I just got a Target gift card from people at work today.
Nice. Yeah, isn't it like a not customer?
Creative Professionals Day.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to them.
Okay.
And I got that and a day off work.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's nice. I appreciate that.
I know.
That's nice. Okay. Something on your bucket list. What is something on your bucket list? I gotta think. I feel like mine should be easy, but let's see.
You're not gonna guess mine, but
I'm trying to think. Ooh. Go to Hawaii.
that is one, but that is not the one.
Okay, but the question is, what's something on your bucket list?
Oh, I guess so. I guess
not the number one thing on your bucket list, just something.
Can I say what the number one thing is? I don't think I've ever told you this.
Love learning new things.
So Trisha, my friend Trisha,
mm-hmm.
her grandparents, ever since they got married, have gone to all 50 states together.
That's cool.
Yes. I want to, like, when I get married to my future wife, I want to do that with her.
Okay. I think we have talked about that. I would like to do that, but like just like as a personal goal.
Yeah.
Just because I've already been to quite a few of them, but
yeah, same.
What's something on mine?
Do you have a couple in mind?
Yeah, but there's one that should definitely scream out to you because I talk about it like every summer and it hasn't happened.
You want to it's blanking, but like jump out of an airplane, you want to parachute.
Skydiving.
Skydiving. You want to go skydiving.
Yeah. Yep, that was the one.
You know how many times that we planned to do that and it never happened?
I know. That's the one adventure that we haven't spontaneously. It's kind of hard to spontaneously go and do that though.
No.
Yeah, but I always say this summer it's happening. And last summer I thought for sure it was, but then COVID happened. So maybe this summer.
We were going to do it last summer.
Yeah. I really want to do it in Florida when we go on vacation because I really want like a good view. Yeah. Because there's a skydiving place like 30 minutes from our house in London. And like, I don't want to look at cornfields.
No. Okay, next question. Favorite TV show?
For yours, I think Grey's Anatomy.
100%.
If you don't get mine, we're no longer friends.
What is the thing that you have on all the time? Friends.
I just said, I literally gave you a cue too. I literally said, if you don't get it right, we're no longer friends. Nudge, wink, wink.
You have a problem.
I do have a problem.
Take my HBO password so you could watch Friends.
No, I took our friend Jace's.
Yeah, well, I upgraded the HBO Max for him. No worries.
Our other friend Stan, who also lives outside of DC, I was drinking out of my Central Perk mug yesterday, and he Snapchatted me back and said, "Such a big Friends girl," and I was like, "You have no idea." You have no idea.
Oh, Stanley was my roommate in college.
Yes.
And now, unfortunately, lives 15 minutes away from me.
You love it. Don't act like it's a burden.
No, I do love it. It's good. But it is unfortunate that he's 15 minutes away because I'm used to walking across the living room and annoying him.
That is fair. Okay. Now we're going to move on to some of the deeper questions. And we're not going to try to guess these because they're a little bit harder. So The first one is, what's a common experience for many that you've never experienced? And I really hope you say what I want you to say.
A common experience for
For
many.
many that you've never experienced. Can I answer this one for you?
Yeah.
You've never had a long-term girlfriend.
Nope. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's the one.
I just had this conversation with Rachel last night.
Oh, that's funny.
Rachel's another person. She's actually a coworker of mine, but we went to high school together with her, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, and we live in the same building.
Apartment complex.
Yeah.
But I was talking to her because we were talking about like dating life and everything. I was like, Rachel, you got to stop trying to date for marriage, I was like, I'm preaching to the choir here.
You are.
And
you're calling the kettle black, but
yeah.
With COVID, it's been so hard to date too. So
yeah,
I'm
so busy all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't have time to deal with that.
I don't have time for that.
I do now, but
it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah,
that's definitely something else that we want to talk about too, because my dating life is a shit show and a half, and Chris's is non-existent. So
it's time for me to sit back and laugh.
Yep. And he's been there through all of it, so he just lives vicariously through me.
I don't know about that, but I lived through it. What about you?
Yes, so common experience for many that you've never experienced. I've never been cheated on.
That's true.
That's because I will admit that I have done the cheating in the past. So I just do it before they can do it to me, I guess. Yes. I've only done it once though. So like, I wouldn't label myself as a cheater, and I definitely will never do it ever again. That's a whole different story. But yeah, I've never been cheated on. Can't relate to that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your number one pet peeve? Biggest pet peeve? I feel like mine changes depending on the circumstance, but
yeah, I think
I can answer first if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine is right now. It has been different in the past, but mine right now is when a person is not able to look within themselves and realize that they made a mistake and that they are in the wrong. I do not get along with people that are not able to say, you know what, I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm going to work to do better to fix it.
That's number one.
I'm very much self-aware, and I'm always the first person to be like, I hurt you. I know I hurt you. I'm sorry I hurt you. What can I do to be a better person to make sure that I don't, one, do it again to you, and two, not do it to another person in the future?
Right. Yeah. Number one, that's deep. I was like, oh, I could answer this lightly. But yeah, no, I mean, that's good. I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
With being annoyed by that.
Mm-hmm.
But
we definitely all have been at one point or another.
For sure. My biggest pet peeve is people being flaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get overly dramatic when people are like, oh, sorry, can't come.
Mm-hmm.
We made plans.
Yeah.
And you're not following through. So
yeah. And like, I would much rather you say, you know what, I don't feel like doing anything tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's so much simpler if you're just open about it and being like, hey, can we reschedule, instead of canceling at the last minute because you just didn't want to do it and you didn't want to come up with an excuse.
Yep. Agreed. And also, like, if it's something that like you are like, oh, let's go do this today, and then they're like, oh, just kidding, like I can't, then like that's a little different. But it's more of like if we've had something planned for like weeks.
Yeah.
And then
all of a sudden falls through.
Yeah.
All right, next one. What movie was so sad that you'll never watch it again? Mine is Marley and Me. Watched it in theaters, never watched it since.
Sad.
It was one and done.
I love that movie, but it's so sad.
I can't do it again.
Okay, I would say mine something that a lot of people don't really know about me. I love 13 Reasons Why. I think that it's awesome. It does get a little graphic in the first season and stuff, and a lot of controversy happens and everything. And I know that a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it with mental health, but I have rewatched it and stuff, but I will not watch the last episode of the final season.
Yeah, no. I will agree with you on that one. I watched it once. I have never cried that hard at a TV show or a movie ever. And like, we don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched it, but and like, everyone, you watched it before me, and everyone told me like, Colleen, be ready, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my god, I should have taken y'all more seriously.
Well, see, okay, so that was my first show that I binge watched. Well, I watched it all the way through, but then that final episode came out in like June after the world shut down. So I was like, might as well watch it. I watched the whole entire season in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And on the final one, I remember it was like 2, 3 a.m. and I'm watching this and I am just sobbing.
You immediately texted me in like all caps and you were like, dude,
I am not okay.
Yeah. And you were like, I'm bawling. And I was like, ha. And then you FaceTime me and I was like, oh shit, like, are you good? Are you okay?
There was no. I was like, of all characters, though, well, like, seriously?
I know. Okay, well, so this is my story of when I watched it. It hit like so close to home to me that I texted my ex-boyfriend and apologized. And was like, I'm so glad that happened.
Yep, that was just went all over me.
My thinking was, you know what? Life is so short. I shouldn't be pissed if I.
No, that's the thing, though, is like, as controversial as it is, like, it also does teach you life lessons of like, wow, like, life is too short. Like,
and like, this isn't that deep. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And the crap I'm going through is not half as bad as what those people in this show are going
If you think your life is like shit in a handbasket, that's not that saying, hell in a handbasket. Yeah. Watch that show because you will feel much better about what you're going through.
Holy crap.
Yeah. All right, moving on. What is a habit that you do that you know annoys other people? And I know what mine is.
What's yours?
When I get excited or when I'm like telling a story, I start talking in different accents. And I'm sure it'll happen on here at some point, but I don't even really realize it sometimes. And it's never the same accent. Like, it's never British. It's like not always Australian. Just something comes out. It sounds half British, half Scottish, half I don't know what. But I've been told by multiple people, especially when like we're having a serious conversation and it just like comes out, and then they're like, Colleen, like, I'm being serious. Can you not? And I'm like, oh, sorry, my bad.
What the hell? Yeah. Can I say something to add on to that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Obviously, this is no offense to you. Love you. But also, like, going along with that is sometimes your voice pitch goes up, like, skyrockets,
like octave.
Like, Colleen,
yeah,
you need to calm down.
Especially when I'm like, usually if something just happened and I'm like peeved, like I'm pissed off and like I want to get it out, like, oh yeah. Or if I get super excited, I'm like, oh my god, you're not gonna believe what just happened.
that is it. And you're like 100 miles an hour and it's like, all right, take a breath. I don't know.
That's me being like, it just needs to get out.
I would say, I feel like one of mine is like, I organize all of the events that I attend. And if it does not go to the precise way, if I'm not intoxicated, then I get mad.
Especially like when we're just trying to have fun. Like, we're like, Chris, it's not that serious. It doesn't need to be pish posh perfect. And you're like, but in my head, I envisioned it this way, so it has to go this way.
Yeah. That, or that I'm late to literally everything.
Okay, so our friend Katerina, who we have mentioned before, she goes by Kat. we literally will tell him to get there at 8, and she'll text me and tell me to get there at 8:30 because we know that he's not going to be there until like 8:15 to 8:30.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, oh, Colleen's just really late. And we're like, no, we told you to come early.
Not very nice, but I respect it.
But we know how to work around it now because now no one gets pissed off. Everyone's there when they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Fine.
I was telling my coworkers about how you guys do that like last week, and they were like, that's hilarious. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, kind of embarrassing, but funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The last one is favorite childhood memory.
Yes, I had to think long and hard about this one. I'm trying to think of like a specific.
I know. I had a lot of good childhood memories.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to think like my favorite.
Yeah.
It was kind of difficult. I still feel like I don't have one that like, stands out above all of the others. I think mine is my dad used to grow a garden every year. He doesn't anymore. But every time, like in the springtime, like around this time when he would like go out to plow it and like plant the seeds and like till it and, get it all ready to go. I insisted that I had to help. And like, it did not matter what I had on. Like I would literally, there's so many pictures. Like there's one that's like vividly coming to my memory. I'm in like a floral bikini with my rain boots on, pushing like the plow thing with him like behind me. And there's so many pictures where it did not matter. There's some where I'm in a winter coat because it's cold out. But like, yeah, there's so many pictures of me pushing this plow with him because I was like, I'm helping with the garden. Yeah.
I would say mine probably was kind of like similar earlier. I mentioned my mom and I's birthdays are very close. They're 4 days apart.
Mm-hmm.
On my mom's birthday, we went up to Great Wolf Lodge up close to Lake Erie and Sandusky and did a couple nights there. And then we drove over to the Niagara Falls.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Explored New York. And I thought it was the coolest freaking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also that was around the time that like some Disney horse movie was out and I was just obsessed with it. And
was it Spirit?
I think it was. I feel like Spirit like came about like before then.
It was. Yeah.
I don't remember, but some Disney horse movie came out and I was just like
Flicka?
Maybe. I remember sitting in the backseat of my parents' car, headphones in, DVD player, and I was just watching.
On repeat.
And it was like one of those like nice car rides. We had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've never been to the Niagara Falls since, but it's definitely something that I really enjoyed doing with my family.
Yeah, I went to Niagara Falls when I was 19 with my sister, and it was fun.
Oh yeah, you went to Canada.
I did. It was fun.
Yes.
I was legal to do everything under the sun, and then I came back to Ohio, and I was
they
not 21 yet.
Stuff when they're like 16.
It's 19. That's the legal age.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but it was deceiving because I got to like go to a casino and have my first like casino experience in Toronto, and came back to Ohio and I had to wait 3 more years or 2 more years.
Yeah,
but hopefully that gives you guys a little bit more insight about us, some deeper questions, some memories, some things that we're into, some things that we really like. So I think that's how we're gonna wrap this up. I think that's how we're gonna end this.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else you want to add in, Chris.
I don't think so. I think that this was awesome.
Yeah, I think our first episode, sound off in the comments for sure if you enjoyed the first episode. We really thank you if you made it this far, because this is probably definitely like 45 minutes long. So,
and like Colleen mentioned earlier, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, you want to talk about with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave our Instagram and our email in the bios. Yeah, any questions you have for us, any topics that you just have so many questions about that you really want us to talk about, please give us ideas.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the first episode. We
of
will
Candid Chats with CNC.
Candid Chats with CNC. So we will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, and you guys can find the video form of this podcast on our YouTube channel. And we are going to have it on all of the places that you can find audio podcasts. So that's going to be, your Spotify podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're going to have it on Podbean. So any place that you can think of, hopefully we will have it on there. So yeah, we're excited to talk to you guys next week and give you a little bit more insight into who we are and what we're up to. So,
all right. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. That's a great way to end it.